close the doors. I'd like to call to order this Committee on Finance hearing to hear the budget of the Office of the Vice President. We'd like to welcome and acknowledge the presence of no less than our second highest official of the land, Vice President Maria Leonor Lenny Robredo. Ma'am, good afternoon ho. It's an honor to have you in the Senate and before the committee with your Undersecretary, Boyet D, Dr. Salvosa, ASEC Sofia Yanto Abad, Director Jennifer Tan, and we welcome all the members of the OVP family and community. Magandang hapon po. We acknowledge the presence of the Senate Minority Leader, former Senate President, the Kilabot of Iloilo, Senator Frank Drilon. Sir. Ma'am, if you would like to present, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Senator Frank, the members of the Senate Committee on Finance Family. May I be allowed, Mr. Chair, to present our budget and to give you a general idea of how the Office of the Vice President has been functioning since we took over in 2016. Next slide, please. Senator, when we took over in 2016, the Office of the Vice President was mainly performing ceremonial functions. Even if you look at its budget, the budget is really mostly for ceremonial work. But we decided to reinvent the office and make it more advocacy heavy. So we conceptualized a new mission and vision for the office and converted our office into a convergence platform for engaging citizens in nation building, promoting the principles of democracy, and empowering communities in the fight against poverty. It was very clear to us, Mr. Chair, that we wanted to institute an anti-poverty program, but our limitation at that time was we did not have funds for it. So there was a need for us to make our office as a platform to be able to link communities needing help and private organizations wanting to help. Next slide, please. Next slide. In October of 2016, a few months after we started our term, we initiated our core advocacy program and called it Angat Buhay. It's basically an anti-poverty program with 6 advocacy areas. We started with 50 communities, which we chose from among the geographically vulnerable, isolated GIDA areas, geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas among the 20 poorest provinces in the Philippines. Good afternoon, Senator Pangilinan.
To acknowledge the presence of the chair of the Senate Committee on Constitutional Affairs and former Majority Leader, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. So when we started in October of 2016, we adopted 50 of the poorest communities all over the country. As we went along, we are now in 193 communities. Aside from Angat Buhay, we also launched 2 other programs. One of them is Ahon Laylayan Coalition, which is really meant to, it's an organizing activity which is really meant as a support to our Angat Buhay program. We are very concerned of the sustainability of our programs, and we felt it was necessary to organize the sectors so that they will be our partners on the ground and ensure the sustainability of our programs beyond 2022. We also we were able to organize Ahon Laylayan coalitions in 15 LGUs already, and we continue to organize as time goes by. We also launched Istorya ng Pag-asa. Istorya ng Pag-asa is a program where we highlight inspiring stories of individuals who went through tremendous struggles but have emerged triumphant. The very reason for launching Istorya ng Pag-asa is for us to be able to inspire people who are going through the same difficult circumstances. Next slide, please. Just to give you an idea of the accomplishments that we were able to attain since we started in July of 2016 to August of 2019. When we took when we took over in July of 2016, the Office of the Vice President already had a traditional medical assistance program, and we decided to continue with it. In 2016, the budget which was utilized was 91 million, servicing 7,840 individuals. But since then, we utilized 61% of OVP's MOOE for this year is already devoted to our medical assistance program. In 2017, we were able to service 23,759 beneficiaries. In 2018, we were able to service 16,029 beneficiaries. And as of August of 2019, we have been serving 5,302 beneficiaries already. And the expectation is that at the end of the year, it will be almost the same or a little more than the number that we serviced in 2018. As of August of 2019, we have already partnered with 321 private organizations, mobilizing more than 343 million worth of resources and benefiting about 400,000 families and individuals in our 193 adopted LGUs. As far as our Istorya ng Pag-asa program is concerned, we were able to feature 474 Istorya ng Pag-asa champions already, and we have Istorya ng Pag-asa chapters in 26 LGUs already. Next slide, please. We have also devoted a lot of our time and resources in institutional development. In December of 2017, we were awarded the ISO 9001-2015 certification. And after that, we instituted key financial controls, and that paved the way for our receiving an unqualified opinion from the Commission on Audit for fiscal year 2018. This is the first time that we are receiving an unqualified opinion since it was last handed to the Office of the Vice President in 2012. We have also made a lot of effort in professionalizing our workforce. In fact, one of those initiatives that we launched was a junior leadership development program where we train emerging leaders within the Office of the Vice President to ensure sustainability and unleash creativity within the organization. Senator, good afternoon.
We acknowledge the Majority Leader of the Senate, Senator Mig Zubiri.
As you can see, your budget attracts the most important senators.
But I hope not to question.
Thank you, Senator. Next slide, please. May we just be allowed, Mr. Chair and the members of the committee, to give you a glimpse of the kind of programs that we're doing. We decided to feature at least five different programs. One of such programs was the building of the Angat Buhay Village in Marawi. As of now, we have already built 72 houses, and our goal is to be able to build 100. But the good thing about it, Mr. Chair, is that this is entirely private funded. The money coming from our private partners was used in utilized the money of our private partners in constructing the Angat Buhay Village. But this Angat Buhay Village is actually a holistic approach to helping the community. We've been doing a lot of work in Marawi. We have been training women entrepreneurs in different parts of Marawi. We have been constructing school buildings. We have been doing, right now, we're doing a lot of work with microfinance organizations and Xavier University in trying to train and provide capitalization for the economic rebuilding of most of the Marawi residents. Second example of what we have been doing is we're building dormitories within the compounds of national high schools, and we're doing this in places where the dropout rates of high school students are very high. Right now, we have finished 5 dormitories already. 2 dormitories inside the Siayan National High School. Siayan, Mr. Chair, is in Zamboanga del Norte, and it has been one of the poorest municipalities in the entire country. I think from 2003 to 2009, it was the poorest. And it has a very high dropout rate. And the reason for the very high dropout rate is that students have to walk very far in order to go to school. 2 years ago, we built, 2 years ba? O last year, we built a boys' dormitory. This year, we built a girls' dormitory. We also built a girls' dormitory in Sumilaw, Bukidnon, Senator Zubiri, inside the pineapple plantation. Recently, I think last month, we inaugurated 2 other dormitories. One of them is inside the campus of the Balangkayan National High School in Eastern Samar, and the other one is inside the compound of the Matarinao School of Fisheries in Salcedo, Eastern Samar. And the reason for that is these are the places where the dropout rates are very high, and the reason for the high dropout rates is that students have to walk sometimes as far as 13 kilometers each way just to go to school. So the results of our first dormitory which we built has been very encouraging, in the sense that the improvement in the absenteeism and the dropout rate has really been dramatic, and we hope to be able to build more. In Sumilaw, Bukidnon, we're building a boys' dormitory also, because we built a girls' dormitory before. We're building a boys' dormitory within the year. And some of these dormitories are coming from our funds, the funds of the Office of the Vice President. The agreement, honorable senators, is that we build the dormitory, but the school is the one tasked to take care of the operations. We have asked them to appoint house parents for our dormers, and for them to choose the poorest and they stay for free, but they choose the poorest and the ones who live the farthest. So this has been very encouraging. In the pipeline is the boys' dormitory in Sumilaw, and another dormitory in Mindoro Occidental, in Barangay Ilin, San Jose, Mindoro Occidental. So next. One other example of what we are doing is what we did in Agutaya in Northern Palawan. I don't know, Mr. Chair, the honorable members of this committee, if you are familiar with Agutaya, but Agutaya is in Northern Palawan. It is one of the poorest municipalities of Palawan. It is very difficult to go there. For you to be able, yes, several islands actually, Mr. Chair. For you to be able to go there, you have to fly to Coron first and take 2 boat rides. The first boat ride is going to Cuyo, which is 10 hours away, and another boat ride 6 hours away to Agutaya. The first time we went, yung buong munisipyo po walang kuryente, walang potable water, bumibili sila ng tubig. The only elementary school in Barangay Diit, sira yung bubong. Talagang pinagtsatsagaan nilang walang bubong. Seaweed farming, yung hanap buhay ng mga fishermen, pero hirap na hirap sila because halos naubos yung lahat ng mga boats nila during Yolanda. And we first went there, I think 3 years after Yolanda. So the first time we came back with very heavy hearts kasi wala po kaming tulong na dala. But we were able to find very able partners. Right now, we're able to energize more than 400 households already in partnership with ASA Philippines, which is a microfinance organization, and Team Energy. So 5 barangay na po yung energized. Ang kabutihan po ng pag-energize sa kanila kasi nagkaroon ng hanap buhay, yung mga kababaihan, dahil sa gabi, pwede na sila makapagtrabaho. Nagtatrabaho, yung gumagawa po sila ng mga binebenta sa mga aman resorts. ng mga handicrafts. We also brought in partners who would be able to help the fishermen. Yung St. Teresa's Alumni Association provided the boats for the fishermen. We also got partners who would train them for seaweed farming. Andres Soriano Foundation also became a partner, and they're building a water system already. So hopefully this year they would have potable water already. So the residents won't have to buy somewhere else. Yung team po namin, I was there twice, pero our team pabalik-balik doon para tingnan kung ano pa yung mga tulong na.
Parang pumunta kayo sa Benham Rice, ma'am. Sa
Opo,
layo ng
napakalayo, napakalayo po. Pero sulit naman. Sulit naman. In fact, the first time we went, nag-iiyakan yung mga tao kasi parang first time silang nabisita. But the results have also been very encouraging. Next. Ito po is a program for farmers that we're doing in Camarines Sur, and we're very proud of it. Hindi po kami yung original na model. Ang may model po nito yung Jollibee Foundation. Tinulungan kami ng Jollibee Foundation for us to be able to replicate it in Camarines Sur. But the idea is, we have organized restaurants, hotels, hospitals, and groceries. Na nagkaroon po kami ng survey, and we found out that before they were organized, they have been buying their produce from outside the region. Pero nung inorganize namin sila, and inorganize namin yung mga small farmers, hindi po dito qualified yung mga farmers na may mga malalaking land holdings. Ang pwede lang yung mga maliliit. We were able to enter into agreements with the business establishments na diretso na yung benta sa kanila ng mga farmers. Just last week, I was in Naga for the fiesta. And ang balita po sa amin ng mga farmers, nagdi-distribute na sila tonelada ng mga produce dun sa mga partners. And the good thing about it is we were able to do away with the middlemen who were taking in most of the income. So it's a model that we intend to, parang pinilot lang po namin
Bigger
sa Camarines
profits, ma'am.
Sur. Yes.
Bigger profits to the
Kasi
farmer.
po nakakatulong po, yung pera ng opisina po namin nakakatulong sa kapital nila. Napapagawan po namin sila ng small irrigation systems, ng mga greenhouses. We're also working with DADAR and DTI. So nagtutulungan po kami, pero because the results have been very encouraging, we want to replicate it in Iloilo and in Zamboanga. We have already done initial talks with the sardines factories in Zamboanga. And in Iloilo, in Lambunao particularly, there is a Champion Farmers Program, which we want to expand in the other areas in Iloilo. So, tamang-tama kasi Iloilo is bustling, and really the farmers will benefit out of this. So yung trabaho lang po namin dito, kami lang yung taga-link, saka taga-tulong ng konti with regards to capitalization. Next. Ito naman po programa namin on health in San Remigio in Cebu. San Remigio is a small municipality in northern Cebu. The first time we went there, we went to have a dialogue with the fisher folks. Pero nung nandun na po kami, it was brought to our attention that the mental health cases in San Remigio is alarmingly big. Talagang yung mga mental health patients po doon, kinukulong at kinakadena because they have become violent already. So we started a community mental health program with the local government of San Remigio. We also partnered with the Philippine Mental Health Association Cebu chapter. And ngayon po napakaganda na ng programa. Recently, we built out of our funds a mental health facility which is being run by the LGU. Yung kabutihan po nito, hindi lang San Remigio yung nakinabang, but the mental health facility is also being used by the neighboring towns in northern Cebu. So it's an ongoing project which we're doing not just with the LGU, but with the Mental Health Association. Kami lang po nagpagawa ng building, pero yung nagkumpleto ng equipment, yung aming private partners. Halimbawa, yung mga furnishings, yung mga equipment, Solana Land Foundation yung nagbigay. Some of the equipments were given by Angkop USA Foundation. Marami pang ibang tulong na galing sa pribado. Even the mental health medicines are also provided by our partners. So yon. Those five programs we decided to discuss just to give you an idea of what our office has been doing. Ito po yung aming annual budget from 2017 to 2022. When we started, we did not have funds for programs. Talagang when we started, our Angat Buhay program was really 100% dependent on private sector support. But last year, I were given an additional 200 million, which we're now using for our programs. And our request this year is ma-retain lang po. Ma-retain lang yung binigay sa amin. So ito po yung summary ng aming mga hinihingi. For personal services, we have 117 filled permanent and co-terminus positions vis-a-vis the 120 in 2018. So nagbawas. Yung MOOE, I mentioned before that for 2020, 68.3% will go to subsidies which we use for medical and burial assistance. Yung capital outlay naman po, parang ngayon lang siya lumaki kasi 8 of our vehicles have reached the end of their useful lives already. So, yung 8 po ay kailangan na namin palitan. Ngayon po yung mga ginagamit ng opisina namin, mga private vehicles na. Ang problema po sa private vehicles, hindi namin magasolinahan ng public funds. So, lugi pa yung nagpapahiram kasi siya pa yung magagasolina.
Baka panahon pa ni Vice President Lopez yung...
Yung retirement and life insurance premiums naman po, it is automatically appropriated as determined by DBM computation. So, last slide. Yung last slide na po, moving forward. 3 taon na lang po kami, 3 taon na lang kami sa Office of the Vice President, and our focus really is on the sustainability of our programs, considering na napakaganda yung resulta nung last 3 years. So right now, I've mentioned this earlier already, we're organizing Ahon Laylayan coalitions, and our dream is to be able to convert these coalitions into people's councils para sila yung maging backbone ng mga programa. We're also doing a bridging leadership program. It's a program where we require the mayors of our adopted communities na i-undergo po nila ito para pag wala na kami, i-absorb na ng LGU yung mga programa kasi sayang naman. As far as our medical assistance program is concerned, we've shifted to the guarantee letter system. Dati po kasi cash yung binibigay namin. Ngayon, yung cash na binibigay namin, yung nakikinabang, yung malapit lang dito sa atin, yung NCR. Ngayon po, we're entering into agreements, MOA, with hospitals in the provinces. So yung shift sa guarantee letter system is really an aim to expand the coverage.
Nauna ata yun.
Yung ano naman po, we still plan on going strong with our institutional development. Malaking bagay po for the office na ISO certified na kami, that we've received yung good reports from COA, but we plan to establish an internal knowledge management system for better knowledge sharing of data and best practices. We would also like to institutionalize a competency-based human resource management system to ensure that the right of information to ensure that we upgrade the competencies of our people. Tapos, we are also conducting an executive education program for our supervisors. So, if you will notice, Mr. Chair and the honorable members of this committee, talagang yung next 3 years po is more for strengthening what we have started already, expanding our coverage and making sure that all the initiatives that we started will become sustainable. So that is the end of my presentation.
Maraming salamat, Vice President Lenny. And before I recognize the Majority Leader, I'd just like to congratulate you for all your good programs. Naabot niyo yung hindi man lang namin alam na meron palang ganong lugar. Congratulations po. And we certainly do not wish to, at the very least, we will protect your budget, but I'm sure many of us would even want to increase it given the demands of your office. Napakalaki po ng mandato. Ang laki rin po ng expectation ng tao, so we have to deal with all these things. Majority Leader, sir?
Thank you very much to my dear chairman. With the permission of my two colleagues here from the minority, we do not want to waste any more time of the Vice President. We always recognize all the good works that you've done, ma'am.
Thank
And
you, Sen.
you had me at Sumilaw, but actually before that, I really came over to really support.
We are in many other towns in Bukidnon
I know,
po, with the
Madam
help
Pres-
of the governor.
Madam Vice President, you know you're very well loved in Bukidnon. And we don't want to waste any more of your time. I move, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the budget of the Office of the Vice President without prejudice to increasing it, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Before
Mr.
we
Chair.
act on the motion, there are
Yes,
some policy questions.
certainly.
Which I want to.
Go ahead, Minority Leader.
Now,
Sure.
first, I join my chairman in congratulating and commending the Office of the Vice President for launching all of those projects undertaken principally to assist the needy. We notice with interest that for the next 3 years, you will strengthen your projects, expand your coverage. You know, your situation reminds me, Mr. Chairman, the situation of the Vice President Robredo reminds me of the situation of Diosdado Macapagal. Diosdado Macapagal was the Vice President. The incumbent President, Carlos Garcia, did not give Diosdado Macapagal any work, and therefore what Diosdado Macapagal did for the 4 years that he was in office was to go around the country helping the needy. I am saying that, and then subsequently, Diosdado Macapagal won the presidency. Whether or not there is a parallel to that, I'm just stating facts. I know that
Who was the Vice President of Diosdado Macapagal when he won for presidency?
I don't know who.
I don't know.
No, but when Carlos Garcia was the president, the vice president was Diosdado Macapagal, and Diosdado Macapagal was similarly situated as Vice President Robredo. Hindi po siya binigyan ng trabaho ni Carlos Garcia. Ngayon din si Vice President Robredo ay hindi binigyan ng anumang trabaho, kaya ngayon ikot siya ng ikot, kagaya ni Vice President Diosdado Macapagal, ikot ng ikot, nakikipag-usap sa tinitingnan kung ano ang pangangailangan ng taong bayan. Si Diosdado Macapagal po ay naging Pangulo ng ating bansa. Yan lang po, I'm stating a fact. Anyway, I noticed, Mr. Chair, that there is no budget for a policy section of the Office of the Vice President. These are all geared towards helping the poor. Is that a correct impression?
Yes, Senator. Actually, we have a policy unit in our office, but we are really constrained by our resources, in the sense that we cannot do our own researches outside of what we already have, because we don't have money for it.
Yeah, and being the Vice President and just a breath away from the presidency, I think it is needed, it is necessary, that the office be equipped with stock knowledge or knowledge of the various policy issues that are being discussed, because whether we like it or not, by structure.
We welcome also Vice Chair of the committee, Senator Risa, Vice Chair Risa Ontiveros.
I already forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, no, I was kidding. A policy. There must be a policy section unit, and we must support this because whether we like it or not, the vice president is just a breath away from the presidency, and not that she wants to take over. It's just a matter of policy and preparation that we should have a unit for that purpose. And in that regard, if the vice president can submit some additional the requirement, as he says he needs this, we would be more than willing to look at it and consider it.
Thank you very much, Senator. Actually, Mr. Chair, we have a policy unit within the office, but it is headed by a consultant because we could not afford the salary grade of the one who heads it. And most of the staff, I think we have three.
We have another vice chair present, Vice Chair Joel Villanueva. No doubt you're here to say hi to Migs. No, I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. Ang dami nag-hi ho. Ngayon lang ho nangyari yan. Ma'am.
We have, it's a 4-man team, Mr. Chair, but most of the staff are job order employees. So if the committee would agree to our submitting a proposal, that
Ma'am,
would be a
certainly.
big,
We're
big
most welcome.
addition to our
That's
office.
a very welcome development because I think yung point ni Senator Frank is we need to institutionalize these things in the office of the Vice President. Magandang legacy din ho siya on your part to start it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion by seconded, duly seconded.
Yes,
Seconded
Seconded by all the members of the committee.
And remember, Mr. Chairman, my motion was without
Without prejudice,
to
of course.
increasing, not
Of course.
decreasing, increasing
Yes,
the budget.
yes.
And that motion, the basis I provided in the...
Yes, yes. We will welcome those amendments, ma'am. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you,
So
Mr.
the motion is carried, and we will favorably endorse without prejudice to increasing but not decreasing the budget of the Office of the Vice President. Maraming salamat po, ma'am, and to your colleagues at the office. Salamat po. Go ahead. You have the whole afternoon to say it, Senator
I would
Joel.
like to congratulate the UP Maroons for
Okay. Yeah, there are
that
three.
lucky
There are three
win.
Maroons here. There are three.
Lucky
And
win.
VP is also a Maroon.